Lisa Grant couldn't believe what she was hearing. She stood frozen on the observation deck of the massive Galactic Council station, her eyes fixed on the slowly spinning hologram of Earth in the center of the grand chamber. All around her, aliens from hundreds of different worlds whispered to each other, their translator devices creating a soft background hum. "The classification committee has reached a decision," announced Counselor Zixitar. The large insect-like alien's hard outer shell gleamed under the bright lights as he raised 4 of his 8 limbs for silence. "After careful study and much debate, we officially classify Sol 3, known to its people as Earth, as a Class 13 Deathworld." The chamber erupted with noise. Lisa felt her heart skip a beat. In the 3 years she had worked as Earth science representative to the Council, she had never seen such a reaction. Even the oldest Council members seemed shocked. "Class 10 was the highest rating ever given before today," whispered Commander Jack Powell, who stood beside Lisa. His military uniform looked out of place among the colorful alien clothing. "What does Class 13 even mean for us?" Lisa shook her head slowly. "I don't know, this is completely new territory." Zixtar's voice boomed over the noise. "This classification is based on several factors." The hologram of Earth expanded, showing detailed information. "Earth has extreme geological activity with constant earthquakes and volcanoes. Its weather systems can produce devastating storms. The planet receives dangerous levels of radiation from its sun. It contains an unusually high number of predatory and poisonous species. And most concerning," the insect-like alien paused, for effect. "The native intelligent species has not only survived these conditions but has grown stronger because of them." Lisa felt a strange mix of pride and worry. Earth was tough, yes, but was that really so bad? A tall, thin alien with skin that glowed like moonlight stepped forward. "Esteemed Council, I am Ambassador Nira of the Lumidari Confederation." Her voice was musical but firm. "I suggest we amend this classification. Earth is not merely a class. 13 Deathworld, it is worse." More shocked whispers filled the room. Lisa gripped the railing in front of her so hard her knuckles turned white. "Explain yourself, Ambassador," said Zixtar. "The humans have not just survived their deadly environment, they have mastered it," Nira continued. "They have turned the very dangers of their world into strengths. This makes them unpredictable and potentially dangerous to galactic peace." "That's not fair," Jack muttered under his breath. Counselor Vren, a short amphibian-like being, joined the conversation. "Ambassador Nira raises valid concerns. These humans have evolved on a planet that would kill most of us in minutes. Their bones contain heavy metals. Their immune systems attack foreign bodies with shocking violence. They breathe oxygen, a gas that causes rust. They can survive radiation levels that would kill most species instantly." The hologram shifted to show human biology. Lisa watched as the Council viewed diagrams of human muscles, bones, and organs with growing concern on their alien faces. "They can lose large amounts of blood and survive," said another Council member. "They can break bones and heal completely," added yet another. "They eat plants that would poison us," said a third. "And they're the only known species that actively seeks out spicy foods, plants that evolve toxins specifically to prevent being eaten," said a fourth, sounding horrified. Lisa leaned toward Jack. "Should I feel insulted or flattered?" Jack almost smiled. "Both, I think." A new voice cut through the noise. "May I speak?" The crowd parted to reveal High Counselor Ilara, one of the oldest and most respected members. Her skin was almost transparent, revealing a complex network of blue blood vessels underneath. "The floor recognizes High Counselor Ilara," said Zixtar, with a respectful bow. "I have studied the humans since their first radio signals reached my homeworld," Ilara said. Her voice was soft but carried throughout the chamber. "It is true they come from a harsh world. It is true their biology reflects that harshness. But there is more to them than their ability to survive deadly conditions." The chamber grew quiet as everyone listened. "Humans display remarkable adaptability, yes, but also creativity, compassion, and an unusual drive to explore." Ilara's gaze found Lisa in the crowd. "They create art, they help each other, they dream of stars, These are not the traits of mindless survivors. These are the qualities of a species with great potential. Ambassador Nira was not convinced. With respect, High Counselor, that potential cuts both ways. Their history is filled with violence and war. They developed nuclear weapons less than a century after discovering electricity. Their adaptability makes them unpredictable. All young species have violent histories, Ilara replied calmly. What matters is the direction of their growth. The debate continued for hours. Lisa and Jack remained at their observation post, listening as the council members argued about Earth's classification and what it meant for the future of human involvement. In galactic affairs, finally, Counselor Zixtar called for order. We will maintain the Class 13 classification. However, in light of this discussion, we will establish a special committee to evaluate human integration into the galactic community. As the session ended, Lisa and Jack made their way through crowds of curious aliens, many of whom stared at them with new interest. Well, that was something, Jack said. I'm not sure if we've been complimented or insulted. A bit of both, Lisa replied. But I'm worried about this special committee. That could mean anything from fast-tracked membership to complete quarantine. A soft voice spoke behind them. It means you have caught the attention of powers beyond your understanding. They turned to find High Counselor Ilara standing there, her transparent skin glowing softly in the dimmer light of the corridor. High Counselor, Lisa said with a respectful nod. Thank you for speaking on our behalf. I spoke the truth as I see it, Ilara replied. But Ambassador Nira also spoke truthfully from her perspective. You humans are unsettling to many species. You are walking contradictions, fragile yet resilient, peaceful yet warlike, kind yet capable of great cruelty. Jack frowned. That sounds like most intelligent species to me. Perhaps, Ilara said. But most species did not evolve on a world that tried to kill them every day. You did. That changes everything. She gestured for them to follow her. Come, we have much to discuss, and little time. The committee will meet tomorrow, and you must be prepared. As they followed the glowing alien down the curved corridor, Lisa couldn't help but look back at the hologram of Earth, still spinning slowly in the chamber behind them. Her home. A beautiful blue marble in the blackness of space. A Class 13 Deathworld. Or something worse. Lisa and Jack followed High Counselor Ilara down a series of twisting corridors. The station was huge, and Lisa still got lost sometimes even after 3 years. They passed aliens of all shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that Lisa couldn't tell which part was the face. In here, Ilara said, stopping at a plain door that slid open silently. Inside was a small room with a round table and comfortable chairs. We can speak privately. Once they were seated, Ilara's skin changed color slightly, turning a deeper blue. Lisa had learned this meant she was serious. I must be direct, Ilara said. Several powerful groups on the council want Earth placed under quarantine. They are afraid of your species. Jack leaned forward, his face showing anger. Because we come from a planet that's a little rough? That's not fair. Ilara made a sound like gentle bells, her version of laughter. Commander Powell, your little rough planet would kill most council species in minutes without protection. Your gravity would crush many of us. Your air would burn our lungs. Your water would poison our systems. Your bacteria would eat us alive. Your plants defend themselves with chemicals that you call spices and add to food for pleasure. Lisa couldn't help but smile. When you put it that way, Earth does sound pretty scary. It's not just your planet, Ilara continued. It's what your planet has made you. Humans can break bones and heal completely. You can lose parts of vital organs and survive. Your skin repairs itself. You fight off diseases that would destroy whole civilizations. You can eat almost anything. You can survive in deserts, ice fields, mountains, and deep forests. You are, she paused, searching for the right word, adaptable. Terrifyingly so. Jack crossed his arms. So what? We aren't planning to hurt anyone. Intention isn't the issue, Ilara explained patiently. Capability is what frightens the Council. Many species look at humans and see potential threats, not potential friends. Lisa felt her heart sink. What can we do to change their minds? Prove them wrong, Ilara said simply. The Council has agreed to a test. A mixed team of humans and other species will investigate a strange energy reading on a frontier planet called Nexus 9. It's officially rated as a Class 8 Deathworld. Class 8? Jack raised an eyebrow. That should be easy for us then. The challenge isn't just to survive, Ilara said. It's to show that humans can work with others. Many believe that beings from such a harsh world can only think in terms of fighting and winning. Ilara touched a control on the table. A hologram appeared showing a beautiful blue-green planet. Nexus 9 has been abandoned for decades. Science teams detected unusual energy patterns there last year but couldn't get close enough to study them. Your team will investigate these readings and report back. Our team? Lisa asked. Yes. The Council wants you specifically, Dr. Grant, to lead the science part of the mission, and you, Commander Powell, to handle security. You will select 4 more humans to join you, plus 6 non-humans chosen by the Council. Jack frowned. Why us? Because you both understand alien cultures better than most humans, Ilara said, and because I trust you. Lisa felt honored but also nervous. When do we leave? In 3 days, Ilara replied. Choose your team carefully. The fate of Earth's place in the galactic community may depend on how well you work together. The next morning, Lisa and Jack met in the station's human quarters to discuss their team selections. We need people who can handle themselves in dangerous situations but who also play well with others, Lisa said, looking at files on her datapad. Jack nodded. And we need specialists. Nexus 9 sounds like it could throw anything at us. After hours of discussion, they settled on 4 more humans. Dr. Alan Webb, an environmental scientist who had worked on 3 different alien worlds, Specialist Ryan, Kelly, an engineer with experience in alien technology, Captain Diane Foster, who had led several first contact missions, and Dr. Maria Reyes, a medical doctor who had studied alien biology. A good team, Jack said. Now let's meet the aliens we'll be working with. The meeting took place in a large conference room. The 6 non-humans were already waiting when the humans arrived. Allow me to make introductions, said a council aide. From the Vesperi Collective, Catal, xenobiologist. A being that looked like a cross between a wasp and a praying mantis bobbed its head in greeting. From the Quarian Assembly, pilot Mick. A stocky blue-skinned alien with 4 arms gave what might have been a smile. Glon of the Murrowan Medical Guild. A feline creature with golden fur nodded politely. Zorn, Tellarite Archaeological Society. A short, stout being with rough gray skin and no visible neck grunted. Tech Specialist Pivex of the Solari Union. A tall, reed-thin alien whose skin seemed to glow from within raised a 3-fingered hand. And finally, Security Officer Drav of the Krex Imperium. A massive reptilian creature with armored plates along its back showed teeth in what Lisa hoped was a friendly gesture. Captain Foster took charge naturally. Thank you all for joining this mission. We have a lot to prepare and not much time. Let's start by reviewing what we know about Nexus 9. The next 2 days passed in a blur of preparation. They studied maps and sensor readings of Nexus 9. They practiced with their equipment. They learned about each other's abilities and limitations. Some of the aliens were clearly uncomfortable around the humans at first. Zorn the Tellarite kept his distance, watching the humans with small, suspicious eyes. Catal the Vesperi seemed fascinated by humans, but jumped nervously whenever they moved too quickly. Only Mick the Quarian pilot seemed completely at ease, joking with Ryan Kelly about different spaceship designs. On the night before departure, Lisa couldn't sleep. She stood at the viewing window in her quarters looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Nexus 9, waiting for them. And beyond that, Earth. Beautiful, dangerous Earth, whose fate might rest on how well this mission went. A soft knock on her door broke her thoughts. Come in, she called. Jack entered, looking as tired as she felt. Can't sleep either. Lisa shook her head. Too much pressure. We'll be fine, Jack said, trying to sound confident. We've got a good team. But what if something goes wrong? What if the aliens are right to be afraid of us? Jack was quiet for a moment. My grandfather used to say that strength isn't about who can hit hardest. It's about knowing when not to hit at all. Maybe that's what we need to show them, that coming from a death world doesn't just make us strong, it makes us careful. Lisa nodded slowly. I hope you're right. She looked back at the stars. Because I have a feeling Nexus 9 is going to test all of us in ways we can't imagine. The ship that would take them to Nexus 9 was called the Horizon, a medium-sized research vessel with enough room for their mixed team. Lisa stood on the bridge beside Meek, the four-armed Quarian pilot, watching as the final preparations were made. How long until we reach Nexus 9, she asked. Mike's upper arms worked the controls while his lower arms checked a series of readings. About 26 hours. The jump drives are all green, and we have good weather for space travel. Lisa smiled at the alien's use of the human phrase, good weather for space conditions. Mick had clearly spent time around humans before. Captain Foster entered the bridge. Dr. Grant, our alien guests are all settled in. We should gather everyone for a final briefing before we make the jump. In the ship's main conference room, the 12 team members sat around a large table, the humans on one side, the aliens on the other. Lisa noticed the division and frowned. Captain Foster seemed to notice it too. Before we begin, I suggest we mix up our seating. We're one team now. There was a moment of awkward shuffling as everyone changed seats. Lisa ended up between Catal, the insect-like Vesperi, and Drav, the massive reptilian Krex. The change in seating seemed small, but Lisa could feel the tension in the room ease slightly. Now then, Foster began. Let's go over the mission once more. Nexus 9 is a Class 8 death world, abandoned by researchers 20 years ago. About 6 months ago, automated satellites detected unusual energy readings from the surface. Our job is to find the source of these readings and determine if they pose any threat. Dr. Alan Webb activated a holographic display showing a map of their landing area. We'll set down here, in this valley. Sensors show it's relatively safe, with stable ground and fewer larger life forms. Fewer? Asked Galan, the feline Merowin doctor, his whiskers twitching nervously. Nexus 9 has a very active ecosystem, Webb explained. Lots of animal and plant life, some of it dangerous. But the valley has less cover for large predators. What makes this a Class 8 death world? Ryan Kelly asked. Compared to Earth, I mean? PVEX, the glowing Solari, answered. 3 main factors. First, the atmosphere contains toxic compounds that build up in most species' bodies over time. Second, many of the plants produce defensive chemicals that can cause painful reactions. Third, the animal life is highly aggressive with many venomous species. Sounds like Australia, Ryan joked. Only the humans laughed. Jack cleared his throat. What Ryan means is that parts of Earth have similar conditions. We're used to taking precautions. Your environmental suits should protect you from the atmosphere, PVEX continued. But they're not designed for extended combat. If we're attacked by local wildlife, we'll need to retreat rather than fight if possible. Drav, the reptilian Krex, made a rumbling sound that might have been disagreement. Running is not always an option. Sometimes one must stand and fight. We'll assess each situation as it comes, Captain Foster said firmly. Our priority is completing the mission safely. All of us. The meeting continued with detailed discussions of equipment, emergency procedures, and communication protocols. Lisa noticed that the aliens seemed surprised by how seriously the humans took safety measures. Perhaps they had expected recklessness from Deathworld species. As the meeting broke up, Lisa found herself walking alongside Catal, the Vesperi xenobiologist. May I ask you something, Dr. Grant? Catal's voice came through her translator with a slight buzzing quality. Of course, and please call me Lisa. Lisa, Catal's mandibles clicked softly. I am curious. Humans speak of Earth with such affection, Yet by galactic standards it is incredibly dangerous. How do you reconcile these things? Lisa thought for a moment. I guess we love Earth not despite its dangers, but partly because of them. The challenges of our world pushed us to become what we are. And there's beauty in that harshness too. Have you ever seen a lightning storm over the ocean, or a volcanic eruption at night? Katal's compound eyes reflected the lights of the corridor. I have not. They sound frightening. They are, Lisa admitted. But also beautiful. Maybe that's hard to understand if you didn't evolve there. Perhaps, Katal said. I look forward to learning more about humans during this mission. The jump to Nexus 9 went smoothly. Lisa stood at the main view screen with the others as they approached the planet. From space, it looked peaceful. Swirls of blue oceans and green landmasses with white clouds drifting across the surface. Doesn't look so bad from up here, Ryan commented, adjusting his environmental suit. Neither does Earth, Katal replied. Yet your oceans contain predators that could swallow my species whole, and your lands have tiny organisms that could dissolve my internal systems. Ryan looked at Katal with new respect. Fair point. Captain Foster called them together one last time before they boarded the shuttle. Remember our mission. We find the source of the energy readings, document it, and return. We work together. We protect each other. We show what humanity is really about. The descent was rougher than expected. Atmospheric turbulence tossed the shuttle violently, and Mick struggled to maintain control. The atmosphere contains compounds not on our initial scans, Dr. Webb reported, checking readings on his console. Some kind of reactive particulate matter. Lisa gripped her seat tightly. Next to her, Pvex's glow had dimmed noticeably. Are you okay? She asked the Solari. We do not enjoy turbulence, Pvex replied, voice strained. But I will manage. They all landed in a clearing surrounded by towering purple plants that looked like giant ferns. The plants swayed despite there being no wind. Everyone stay alert, Jack said as they prepared to exit the shuttle. Weapons ready but not raised. We don't want to appear hostile, but we need to be prepared. The team spread out around the shuttle, scanning the environment. The air, even filtered through their suits, smelled strange, like cinnamon and rust. The ground was covered in a springy moss-like growth that released small puffs of spores when stepped on. Fascinating, Katal murmured, collecting samples. These plants appear to respond to our presence. They may have rudimentary sensory abilities. Dr. Webb nodded. The whole ecosystem seems more reactive than Earth's, almost like it's... He never finished his sentence. The ground beneath them erupted as crystalline creatures with dozens of sharp appendages burst from below. They were the size of large dogs, their translucent bodies refracting sunlight into painful, disorienting patterns. Defensive formation, Captain Foster shouted, drawing her pulse rifle. The attack was sudden and fierce. The crystal creatures moved with surprising speed, their sharp limbs slashing at the team members. One leaped at Mick, but Jack tackled the Quarian pilot out of the way just in time. Lisa found herself back-to-back with Katal, using her own pulse rifle to shatter one of the creatures as it lunged at them. All around, the team fought desperately. Ryan, Kelly cried out as one of the creatures slashed his leg, cutting through his environmental suit. Blood flowed, but he kept fighting, applying a pressure seal to his suit with one hand while firing his weapon with the other. The battle lasted only minutes but felt much longer. When it was over, a dozen shattered crystal creatures lay around them, and the team regrouped, breathing hard. Everyone okay? Captain Foster asked, scanning the group. Kelly's injured, Dr. Reyes reported, already moving to treat him. Galan, the Merwin physician, approached cautiously. You are wounded, he said to Ryan, yet you continue to function. Ryan grimaced as Dr. Reyes sealed his wound. It's just a scratch that would have severed a limb of my species, Galan replied, watching with fascination as Reyes worked. Now I understand why they call Earth a death world. Not because it kills you, but because it has made you so very hard to kill. After the attack, the team regrouped at the shuttle. Dr. Reyes finished treating Ryan's leg while Captain Foster organized guard shifts. Those crystal creatures took us by surprise, Foster said. That won't happen again. From now on, we move. In tight formation with guards at front and back. Jack examined one of the shattered crystal creatures. I've never seen anything like these. They're almost like living crystals. Catal joined him, her insect-like features unreadable to human eyes. On my world, we have silicon-based life forms, but nothing this advanced. These creatures hunted, with coordination. Everyone get some rest, Foster ordered. We'll head out in 4 hours to track down those energy readings. Lisa couldn't sleep. She sat in the shuttle looking at the data on her pad. The energy readings were stronger now, pulsing in a pattern that seemed almost deliberate. She was still studying them when Jack sat down beside her. Anything interesting? He asked. Maybe, Lisa replied. These readings aren't random. There's a pattern, like a heartbeat or a signal. Jack frowned. You think something's trying to communicate? Or activate something, Lisa said. The pattern started 6 months ago and has been getting stronger. What if it's a countdown? Before Jack could answer, Pivex, the glowing Solari, approached them. The alien's skin pulsed with soft light. Your theory has merit, Dr. Grant, Pivex said. My people are sensitive to energy patterns. I feel something from the direction of the readings. It calls to me. Lisa and Jack exchanged worried glances. This mission was getting more complicated by the minute. 4 hours later, the team moved out. They formed a careful line through the purple fern forest with Drav the reptilian Krex and Jack in front, and Captain Foster and Dr. Webb at the rear. Lisa walked in the middle with Catal and Pivex, monitoring the energy readings. We're getting closer, Lisa said. The source should be just beyond that ridge. The journey was difficult. The ground became steep and rocky. Strange flying creatures with too many wings buzzed around them. Plants released clouds of spores that stuck to their suits. Twice more they were attacked by small predators, once by a pack of 6-legged hunters that looked like a cross between wolves and spiders, and once by a plant that shot poisoned thorns. Each time, the team worked together to drive off the attacks. Lisa noticed that the aliens no longer seemed surprised when the humans put themselves at risk to protect their non-human teammates. Instead, they began to expect it, even count on it. After 3 hours of hard travel, they reached the top of the ridge. Everyone stopped, staring at the valley below. That's not natural, Jack said softly. In the center of the valley stood a massive structure, clearly artificial. Rising from the ground like a giant crystal tower, it pulsed with blue light that seemed to bend the air around it. Surrounding the tower was a perfect circle of dead vegetation, as if nothing could live in its immediate presence. Incredible, whispered Zorn, the Tellarite archaeologist. This construction is ancient. It predates any known civilization in this sector. Yet it's active, Lisa added, checking her readings. The energy is definitely coming from there. As they watched, the pulsing light from the tower increased in frequency. It knows we're here, Pivex said, his own glow pulsing in response. It recognizes us. Captain Foster made a quick decision. Let's move down carefully. Stay alert. This could be dangerous. They descended into the valley, weapons ready. As they approached the tower, Lisa's scanner began to emit a warning tone. Energy levels are spiking, she warned. Something's happening. The ground shook slightly as a section of the crystal tower slid open, revealing a dark entrance. From within, a mechanical voice spoke in a language none of them recognized, yet somehow they all understood. Approach, survivors. You have passed the first test. The team froze, looking at each other in confusion. Captain Foster stepped forward. We represent the Galactic Council. Identify yourself. I am the Guardian of the Forge, the voice replied. This facility was created to identify species worthy of ascension. Few find it. Fewer survive its discovery. Ascension to what? Asked Lisa, her scientific curiosity overcoming her caution. To understanding, the Guardian replied. This world was designed as a filter, Harsh enough to challenge, not harsh enough to prevent arrival. Yet in 5 million cycles, only 17 expeditions have reached this point. Jack looked stunned. You're saying this entire planet is artificial, a test? Correct. Human from the Deathworld. Your presence here is unexpected. Our records indicated your species was unlikely to achieve spaceflight before self-destruction. The alien members of the team turned to look at their human companions with new interest. What happens now? Asked Captain Foster. Now, said the Guardian. You face the final challenge. Enter, if you dare. The team gathered a short distance away to discuss this development. I don't like this, Jack said. It feels like a trap. But think of what we could learn, Zorn argued, his small eyes bright with excitement. This technology is millions of years old. The knowledge inside could be priceless. Or deadly, Galen countered. The Guardian spoke of a challenge. Previous expeditions may have died here. Captain Foster looked at each team member. I won't order anyone to enter. This goes beyond our original mission. I'm going in, Lisa said firmly. This is exactly what we came to investigate. I will accompany you, Catal said, stepping forward. My exoskeleton provides some protection against energy fields. One by one, the others agreed to enter, humans and aliens alike. Whatever waited, inside the tower, they would face it together. As they walked toward the entrance, Drav moved beside Lisa. The massive reptilian had been quiet for most of the mission. Dr. Grant, Drav rumbled. On my world, we judge others by their actions in battle. I have watched how you humans fight, not with blind rage but with purpose. You protect the group. This is uncommon among predator species. Lisa wasn't sure how to respond. Thank you. Drav made a sound that might have been laughter. It was not a compliment, merely an observation. But perhaps the Council's fears are misplaced. A predator that protects others is still dangerous, but in a useful way. They reached the entrance to the tower. The opening was dark, but as they approached, lights activated inside, revealing a long crystal corridor that sloped downward. Last, chance to turn back, Captain Foster said, checking her weapon one last time. No one moved. Despite their differences, despite coming from worlds that could not be more unlike, they had become a team. Then let's find out what this Guardian wants with us, Foster said, stepping into the tower. As they moved deeper inside, the entrance sealed shut behind them. Inside the crystal tower, the team found themselves in a vast chamber that seemed much larger than the tower had appeared from outside. The walls, floor, and ceiling were made of the same crystal material, glowing with a soft blue light. In the center of the chamber stood a tall obelisk that pulsed in perfect sync with the readings on Lisa's scanner. This is incredible, Dr. Webb whispered, his voice echoing slightly. The energy readings are off the charts. Around the central obelisk, holographic displays showed thousands of stars and planets, spinning slowly in the air. The images were so clear they looked real enough to touch. What is all this? Captain Foster asked, her voice carrying a mix of awe and caution. The Guardian's voice answered, seeming to come from everywhere at once. This is a monitoring station, one of 108 spread throughout the galaxy. Together, they form a network that maintains balance. Balance of what? Lisa asked, moving closer to one of the holographic displays. It showed a star system she didn't recognize, with planets orbiting in perfect harmony. Energy, matter, the fundamental forces of reality, the Guardian replied. Without the network, chaos would increase. Stars would die prematurely. Planets would become unstable. Life would struggle to evolve. Zorn, the Tellarite archaeologist, examined the wall markings with growing excitement. This station is millions of years old. The civilization that built it must have been far more advanced than any known species. Who built all this? Jack asked. There was a pause before the Guardian answered. They called themselves the Architects. They ascended beyond physical form long ago. The network continues. Their work. Pivex moved to the central obelisk, his glowing body reflecting off the crystal surface. This node is damaged. I can feel the disruption in its energy patterns. Correct, the Guardian confirmed. This node has been damaged for 3 centuries, causing increasing instability in this sector of space. The energy signals you detected were automatic distress calls. Lisa suddenly understood. The anomalous readings that brought us here. The Council wasn't just detecting some strange energy source. They were picking up a distress signal from this station. Yes, the Guardian said. And now you face the final challenge. The node must be repaired, but the process is dangerous to most life forms. The energies involved will destroy organic matter not adapted to extreme conditions. The alien team members stepped back instinctively, but the humans exchanged glances. You're saying, we might survive this? Jack asked. Humans from Earth have unusual resilience, the Guardian confirmed. Your adaptation to radiation, pressure, and cellular damage gives you approximately 20% chance of survival. Other species have less than 1%. Captain Foster stepped forward without hesitation. I volunteer to make the repairs. No, Lisa said, placing a hand on Foster's arm. I've studied these energy patterns for 3 years. I understand the principles better than anyone here. It should be me. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, to everyone's surprise, Catal moved forward. I will assist, said the Vesperi xenobiologist. My exoskeleton provides some protection, and together we may improve the odds. Lisa looked at Catal with surprise and gratitude. Are you sure? The risk is extreme. Catal's compound eyes reflected the blue light of the chamber. On my world we have a saying, knowledge gained alone is only half as valuable as knowledge shared. We will face this challenge together. The Guardian's voice took on a tone of approval. Cooperation between different species is rare and valuable. I will guide you through the repair process. What followed was a dangerous dance with death. The Guardian instructed Lisa and Catal on how to manipulate the crystal controls of the obelisk. Each adjustment sent waves of energy washing over them, painful even through their protective suits. The other team members watched from behind a protective barrier created by the Guardian, unable to help but offering encouragement. The final sequence must be initiated, the Guardian said after what seemed like hours. This will release a concentrated energy pulse. Prepare yourselves. Lisa and Catal stood side by side at the base of the obelisk, both exhausted but determined. Ready? Lisa asked her alien companion. No, Catal replied honestly. But let us proceed anyway. Together they placed their hands on the crystal surface and initiated the final sequence. A blinding flash of blue-white light filled the chamber, accompanied by a wave of energy that threw both Lisa and Catal across the room. Their bodies hit the far wall hard and crumpled to the floor. Lisa, Jack shouted, rushing forward as the barrier disappeared. Galan and Dr. Reyes reached the fallen pair first, medical scanners in hand. The human lives, Galan announced with astonishment. Severe radiation exposure, burns, internal injuries, but her organ systems continue to function. Catal? Captain Foster asked urgently. Galan's feline features fell. Her systems are failing. The radiation penetrated her exoskeleton. With her last strength, Catal reached out to touch Lisa's hand. Now, I understand, she whispered through her translator. You come from worse than a death world. You come from a world that taught you to sacrifice for others. That is what makes you dangerous and invaluable. As Catal's life faded, the Guardian's voice spoke again. The node is restored. Balance returns to this sector, and a new understanding is recorded. The species from Sol 3 is reclassified, not merely inhabitants of a death world, but shapers of life. They carry death within them, yes, but also the unyielding will to protect life even at great cost. 1 month later, Lisa stood once again before the Galactic Council, still bearing the scars of Nexus 9. She leaned slightly on a cane, her body not yet fully recovered. Beside her stood the surviving members of her team, humans and aliens together. The Guardian's records have been transmitted to the Council, Counselor Zixtar announced. They confirm what many of us feared and what some hoped. Humans are indeed dangerous, forged by a world that should have killed them 1,000 times over. But they are not the monsters we feared. Ambassador Nira rose from her seat. I withdraw my previous objection. Earth is indeed worse than a Class 13 Deathworld. It is a crucible that has produced beings capable of withstanding horrors that would destroy most life forms. But it has also produced beings capable of compassion, sacrifice, and cooperation. Perhaps that is exactly what our galaxy needs. As the Council voted unanimously to welcome Earth as a full member of the galactic community, Lisa thought of Katal and the others who had not returned. She thought of the countless generations of humans who had struggled and adapted and survived on their beautiful, terrible homeworld. Earth was a death world, but its people had learned to carry life amid the death, and that made all the difference. What will you do now? Jack asked Lisa as they left the council chamber. Lisa looked down at the small crystal Katal had given her before they entered the tower, a tradition among the Vesperi to exchange gifts with new friends. It glowed with a soft inner light. Keep exploring, she said simply. Keep learning. Keep showing the galaxy that being born on a death world doesn't define who we are. It just gives us the strength to define ourselves. Jack smiled. Sounds like a good plan. Together they walked toward the observation deck where they had stood that first day, to look out once more at the stars that were now open to them, and to the distant light of Earth, their beautiful, terrible, wonderful death world home.